Hello, thanks for joining me as we talk about equations of lines. We have three different forms for equations of lines: standard form, point slope, and slope intercept. So let's start with talking about the standard form of the line. It's also called general form. We have ax plus by equals c. Now some textbooks have ax plus by minus c equals 0. It doesn't matter which form you use. C represents a number, and it is what it is. So let's talk about the different parts of these. A, B, and C, the capital letters, are all integers. They can be 0, but A and B both can't be 0. Only one can be and still have the equation of a line. And X and Y represent our variables. This form is very useful for graphing because we can very easily find our X and Y intercepts by making the other variable equal to 0, and that's something that we have practiced on a previous lesson. Another form of the line is called point slope, simply because this is a situation where you're given a point, a single point, and a slope, m. And this comes from the slope formula. So I'm going to show you really quickly how we derive that. Here's the slope formula, and this version of the slope formula, you only have one point. This is your variable, and this is your slope, which you know this time. Well, if you multiply both sides by x minus x1, you'll have this. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And that enables us to find the equation of the line pretty quickly. Now, the form of the line that most students are familiar with and prefer to use is slope-intercept. Y is equal to mx plus b. Oh my. M is the slope of the line, which we've learned the equation before. If you know 2 points, slope is y2 minus y1. We just talked about that with point slope formula. And B is the y-intercept. And in a previous lesson, we talked a pretty good bit about intercepts. Y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So in your homework problems, you're going to have to spend some time deciding which equation to use. So if you're given 1 point and the slope, this kind of tells you what you're going to do. You're going to use the point slope formula. That's your first step. You're not going to leave it like that. If you insert into the point slope formula, you're going to need to distribute your slope, and then you're either going to put it in standard form, usually, or slope intercept. Why those two? They're easy to graph from, and that's why we use both of those lines. Now, if you're given 2 points, what's missing is the slope. You're going to have to find the slope. Now, if you're given 2 points, you are going to actually be able to pick either point to plug in to point slope. It doesn't matter which one you plug in, you will get the correct equation of the line, and we're going to demonstrate that in a second. And then you're going to go to standard form. Or slope intercept, depending on what your problem is asking for. And if you're given the slope and the y-intercept, this is a dead giveaway. Slope intercept, you'll use y is equal to mx plus b. Sounds kind of like lions and tigers and bears. Alright, we're going to find the equations of some lines in standard form. I've been given a slope and I've been given a y-intercept. So it means I'm going to use slope-intercept. So here's my m, and here's b. And y is equal to negative 2x plus 5. Now, this problem says to put it in standard form. Standard form, if you remember, is ax plus by equals c. So we need to get the x and the y terms together. Generally, the a should be positive, and so my x is over here, my y is over here. I'm going to add 2x over. And now we have it in standard form. How do I know? My variables are one side and my numbers on the other side. Now the next one, I've got 2 points, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit on this because I'm going to take up a little bit of extra space as we solve this problem. First thing we need to do is find slope. So I'm going to subtract the y's. Since I started with a negative 2 on top, that means I need to start with a 1 on bottom. And this gives me negative 3 over negative 4, which is a positive 3/4 slope. Now I'm going to use this 3/4, and we are going to find the equation of the line using point slope formula. So I'm going to start with using the first point. And I do have a plus in here. I meant to do that. That's minus a negative. And since the standard form of the formula does not have fractions, I'm going to multiply the 4 over here on the other side. So I'll have 4y plus 8 equals, and I'm going to distribute my 3x minus 3. Now I need to get my x's together and my y's together. My x is already positive here, so I'm going to leave it over there and subtract the 4y. And then I'm going to add the 3, and that gives me 11. Now let's try this out with the other point, because I told you it's going to be the same, and it is, so it doesn't matter which one you pick. And substitute in, just like I did before. And just like I did before, I'm going to multiply by the 4, because I don't want the fraction. And I'm going to distribute my 3 all at one time. So I'm going to add the 15 over here and subtract the 4y, and I have missed a sign somewhere. Oh, look at that. I made a mistake. Right here. And it doesn't want to erase it. So I'm going to mark through it and correct my mistake here. That's 11 equals 3x minus 4y. Okay, now 3x minus 4y, I'm glad I did that with both of the problems so I could correct my mistake. So it doesn't matter which point you use, you're going to get the same equation. Alright, now this example, I have been given a point and I've been given a slope, so I'm going to use the point slope formula. If you have problems remembering equations, write to retain. Write the formula until you get it memorized. So we're going to substitute in our negative 7 and our negative 2 and 3. And no pesky fractions, so we are going to distribute. Now remember, standard form means x's and y's together, x positive. This is negative already, so I'm going to bring it over here. And I'm actually going to add, instead of just swapping sides like I did on the last one. And this is the equation of our line. Thank you for watching my video on the slope of a line. I hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to watch some other math videos while you're on my channel.